Y'all get to see all this on the journey. I'm going to show you Kai being born, Carter. Y'all going to get to see the old Rasheeda, the old Kirk. When we had a big girl. When I was hanging with her when she was big girl.
Kirk walked back and forth in the dimly lit room, his steps steady but heavy with the anger and betrayal that had taken hold of him. Every movement felt like it added more pressure to the already tense air between him and Rasheeda. Her confession had dropped like a bombshell, and it was all he could do to hold himself together. "So you really did it," he said quietly, barely above a whisper. "You cheated on me." Rasheeda stood her ground, arms crossed in front of her, her expression cold and defiant. "I didn't come here to play the blame game, Kirk," she replied, her voice firm. "You think you're the only one who can have a little fun on the side." His heart sank. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. "Who else was it? Someone I know?" he asked, his voice rising in disbelief. "Did you really think I'd just sit back and let this slide?" She stepped closer to him, her eyes flashing with intensity. "You don't get to question me. You've had your share of late nights and whispered conversations. Do you really think I'd just ignore that?" Kirk's breath quickened, frustration boiling over inside him. "I thought we were building something real. You made me look like a fool," he said, his voice shaking with anger. Rasheeda's tone grew sharper. "Yeah, well, welcome to the club," she shot back. "I was tired of pretending everything was fine while you were out chasing after whoever caught your eye." Kirk ran a hand through his hair, the weight of betrayal crashing down on him. "So that's your excuse? You thought you'd just cheat back? Is that how you survive?" he asked bitterly. "It's not about revenge," Rasheeda replied, her voice trembling slightly. "It's about standing up for myself. I was tired of being the one who gets stepped on." Kirk's face softened, the anger beginning to fade. "Then why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you confront me about it?" he asked, stepping closer to her. Rasheeda's defiance wavered for a moment, her eyes dropping to the floor before she looked back at him. "Because I wanted to believe you could change," she admitted, her voice quiet now. "But I couldn't just sit there and wait for you to decide to be honest. You made me feel worthless." "Worthless?" Kirk echoed, his heart aching at the thought. "I never wanted that. I thought we were in this together." Rasheeda shook her head, tears threatening to spill from her eyes. "You think I wanted to be the one to cheat? I felt like I had no choice. Every time I tried to talk to you, it was like hitting a wall. I felt invisible." Kirk's expression softened even further, and he took a deep breath, the weight of her words sinking in. "I didn't know. I thought I was protecting you by keeping things light. I was trying to keep us afloat by lying." She shot back quickly, but the edge in her voice had softened. "You can't build a relationship on half-truths and silence." Kirk took another step forward, his anger fading as vulnerability took its place. "I'm sorry. I thought I could handle everything alone, but I see now that I was wrong. I never wanted to hurt you." Rasheeda looked at him with a mixture of frustration and hope. "Then what do you want now, Kirk? What do you want from us?" Kirk paused, gathering his thoughts. "Honestly, I want us to be real. I want to lay it all out there, no more secrets, no more lies. I'm done pretending." Rasheeda studied him for a moment, her shoulders relaxing slightly. "Are you really ready for that?" she asked. "It's going to get messy, and it might hurt." "Messy is better than nothing," he replied, a glimmer of hope in his voice. "I don't want to walk away from this. I want to fight for what we had, for what we could still have." She hesitated, clearly weighing his words. "It's not going to be easy. Trust is broken, and we'll have to rebuild it from the ground up." "I know," he said, sincerity in his voice. "But if we're both willing to be honest, maybe we can find our way back. It won't be perfect, but I want to try." Finally, Rasheeda uncrossed her arms, and the tension between them began to ease. Her expression softened, and for the first time in a while, Kirk saw a crack in the wall she had built around herself. "All right then," she said quietly. "Let's start with the truth. All of it." Kirk took a deep breath, feeling a strange mixture of relief and nervousness. "I was scared, Rasheeda," he admitted, his voice steady but full of emotion. "Scared that I'd mess things up or lose you. So I buried myself in distractions. But that wasn't fair to you." Rasheeda let out a small sigh, her gaze softening. "I was scared too," she whispered. "Scared of being vulnerable, of getting hurt again. So I tried to take control in the only way I knew how." Kirk stepped closer, their eyes locking in a shared understanding. "Maybe we can find a middle ground," he said gently. "I need to know what you need from me." "I need honesty, Kirk," Rasheeda replied, her voice almost a whisper. "I need to know that you're in this for real, not just to save face. Can you do that?" "Absolutely," he vowed, his voice steady. "I'll show you, but you have to promise to do the same." She nodded slowly, a tentative smile breaking through her serious expression. "Okay then, let's tackle this head on. It might hurt, but it's better than hiding." As they stood together, the air between them shifted. It was no longer filled with the tension of unresolved issues, but with the fragile promise of rebuilding and renewal. They both knew the road ahead would be difficult, but for the first time in a long time, there was hope. Hope that they could rebuild what they had lost and create something even stronger, if they were willing to be real with each other. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was taking control of the situation in her own way. After uncovering the truth about Kirk's infidelity, she decided to make a public statement. She set up a press conference and made sure it would be the talk of the town. When the reporters gathered, Rasheeda walked in with a calm yet defiant presence. She stood at the podium, ready to make her announcement. "Thank you all for coming," she began, her voice steady but carrying an edge of excitement. "I have some important news to share, and I want to make it clear what my next steps are." The room fell silent, the reporters leaning in, eager for the scoop. "As many of you know, my relationship with Kirk Frost has recently faced some challenges," Rasheeda said, pausing for a moment to let the tension build. "And yes, it's true Kirk has been unfaithful." The room erupted with murmurs and the sound of cameras flashing. But Rasheeda wasn't finished. She smiled confidently, ready to take control of her narrative. "But here's where it gets interesting," she said, her voice full of conviction. "I'm not just moving on. I'm doing it with someone new, someone who has been a true partner and friend to me." With that, Rasheeda's new boyfriend stepped into view. Tall, handsome, and confident, he exuded a calm energy that stood in stark contrast to the chaos around them. The reporters buzzed with renewed excitement, cameras clicking and questions flying. "Who's he?" one of the journalists asked, her voice sharp with curiosity. "And how did you two meet?" Rasheeda's eyes sparkled with satisfaction as she introduced him. "This is Adrian. We've been seeing each other for a while now. He's been a supportive friend through all the ups and downs, and I'm thrilled to have him by my side as I start this new chapter in my life." In that moment, Rasheeda had taken control of her story and Kirk's betrayal would no longer define her. Adrian stood beside Rasheeda, offering a warm smile and a firm handshake to the reporters. He seemed completely unfazed by the frenzy around him, clearly prepared for the attention. Speaking calmly and with confidence, he said, "Rasheeda and I met through mutual friends, and our connection grew naturally. I'm just happy to support her and be part of her journey forward." After 25 years of ups and downs with Kirk Frost, Rasheeda had finally reached her breaking point. It had been a long ride filled with Kirk's constant unfaithfulness, but it seemed that Rasheeda was finally done. Rumors were swirling that she was ready to divorce him, marking the end of a chapter in her life. Kirk had been known for his shady behavior, and one of the most infamous moments was his betrayal on a getaway during the second season of Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta. This particular incident became a turning point in their relationship, especially when he lied about the paternity of their child. As the seasons went on, the drama escalated. In Season 3, Kirk took a DNA test to prove paternity, but this only made matters worse. Their marriage continued to spiral, with public confrontations and family drama, such as when Rasheeda's mother, Shirlane, ran over Kirk's motorbike in a fit of rage. Despite all the chaos, Rasheeda had always managed to patch things up with Kirk, but the damage was done. The trust was broken, and she had endured more than enough. Rasheeda had carried the weight of their troubled marriage in the public eye for years, and as their 24th wedding anniversary approached, rumors of a divorce began to surface. Fans who had followed their journey were both heartbroken and supportive, with many feeling that Rasheeda deserved peace after enduring so much drama. If these rumors were true, it would mark the end of one of the longest-running and most chaotic relationships in the Love and Hip Hop franchise. Rasheeda's friends, like Lil Scrappy, who had recently gone through his own divorce, and Whitehead, who was also navigating a split, both expressed admiration for Rasheeda's strength and loyalty through all the ups and downs. They praised her for staying strong despite the challenges she faced. However, Kirk's apology was met with mixed reactions from the public. While some saw it as a step toward redemption, others couldn't overlook the years of infidelities and scandals that had overshadowed any attempt at reconciliation.